Phil Foden. We spoke about him to Trevor yesterday, Trevor Sinclair, who has been slow to come to air this morning. You
Indeed,
noticed.
he has.
He didn't call us.
Well, he was very interested because as soon as the subject of Man City comes on the radar, he pricks up and comes alive.
Right. Phil Foden, we know, is set to be rewarded with a new 6-year deal with Manchester City.
Is he indeed?
Basically, the question I'm trying to get to, Simon, is how do you weigh up the risk to reward ratio when handing out contracts to young players? I mean, his current deal has just under 3 years left to run. It's worth about 60 grand a week. So this one, obviously, would be much bigger than that.
Yes.
In terms of length and in terms
cost
of how lucrative it is.
Yes.
And would make him one of the highest paid young players in the Premier League.
Indeed.
Risk to reward ratio. Where do you stand on that when you hand out contracts to these youngsters? And they are youngsters.
Well, depends if you're talking about their development or if you're talking about the situation surrounding injury. But look, Phil Foden is not a secret. You're looking at something now that's being reputed and reported as being arguably one of the best players in the country. So this is a copper-bottomed investment. This is a player that's at a stage in his career where clearly he's a top quality player, and really it would be remiss of you if you've developed him, you've got him inside your building, not to make sure that no one else can take him. Why he'd want to go anywhere else anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're playing for one of the most economically viable football clubs in terms of the finances behind them. There's no barrier to entry in terms of what they can and can't pay him, and there's no limit to their ambition about what they want to win. So with the best will in the world, why would Phil Foden be uncomfortable unless there was an exercise in not paying him what the market value pays for young players? It's good business. It's good business based upon common sense. And the longer the contracts you tie players down to, specifically players where they're proven commodities.
Yeah.
This now, irrespective of whether he's 21 years of age, 21, is a proven commodity. So this is just a no-brainer. You know,
so I see where you're going with it. I mean, do you sit back and admire what City are doing when you consider that they've nailed down Ederson, a new 5-year deal, John Stones, a new 5-year contract, Ruben Dias extended to 2027,
Yep.
De Bruyne extended to 2025. That's exactly what you're saying.
Do I admire it? Well, if you have the gift of being able to have no barrier to economics, then it's not difficult, is it? You've got players in your building. It would be slightly remiss of you to say, I've got all these best players, I've recruited them, I've paid transfer fees for them, and I'm going to let them go at a stage when it suits other people rather than me. There's no reason for it. Man City have won the Premier League the last 2 years. OK, they can't win the Champions League, but I'm sure somewhere along the line, before the Doomsday Book is written, they'll do that. And you've got the finances to be able to meet it. Why would you lose these players? You'd have to ask yourself a question amongst the people that run your football club.
Yeah.
Why are we losing these players? So it's good business sense. If you're looking at what you've bought and the reasons why you've bought it, and they continue to give you those reasons, and you look at their fitness and you look at common sense and conventional thinking about the age that they're at, a 21-year-old being put on a 6-year contract, he's already got 3 years to go, so he'll be there till he's 24.
Right.
So he comes under the compensation rules because he's under 24, and you're extending him till he's 27. Look, it's just good business, it's common sense, and it's what you should do. And if you're in a position where the economics don't affect you, you could have, with respect, you could have a COVID outbreak for 20 years and it wouldn't affect Man City's finances. They'd still be able to do precisely what they want.
For sure. But then, curiously, across the city, at United, Lingard, Pogba, both still not committed.
That's apples with oranges
to
though,
new
Jim.
deals.
That's apples with oranges. That's players at the end of their career. That's players that have proven
End
to
of his
not...
career, Pogba.
Well,
Both 28.
At the ending, well, he's not 21. Is he 28 or 29, Pogba? Whatever
What
he
does
is.
it matter? He's not at the end of his career.
Well, he's coming towards the back end, not the beginning of his career. And certainly if you look at the performance that you've got, the pound-for-pound value, do you think, let me ask you the question, that he's been an unresounding success?
No.
Right, so then why would we be talking about giving him a new contract? He's been a pain in the backside from the get-go.
Yeah, so what, do you let him walk away for free?
No, you don't do that, but ultimately you're in a situation where the problem with Pogba is that you've had managerial changes, you've been trying to rebuild the brand of Manchester United, he's almost been a sideshow, so he's not been dealt with because you're trying to put the wheels back on something that has ultimately lost its direction, and you've now bring somebody in play like Solskjaer, that wants his head, wants to be given an opportunity. He's being given 4 years to not win anything. So you've got a culture there. So why would Pogba be someone that you focus on? You've got a manager that's being told he can build a team over 3 or 4 years. And if you've got this endless thorn in your side is he going to be consistently a performer? We keep on looking at flashes of what this player is. We'll keep on waiting for the next opportunity. Then you've got the ultimate pain in the backside, his agent, that only makes money from the move. So you've got all these moving fees. So it's an unideal world in the same way it was an unideal world to sign Alexis Sanchez and pay him 500 grand a week and get nothing back for it.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse Lingard is a casualty of a team being built that doesn't include him in it. And he won't sign a contract because he can't get the assurances. United have tried to sign him, but he wants assurances he's going to play. Well, you can't give those assurances because the reasons why you haven't played is because you haven't been fit for purpose in conjunction with the task that's being built in front of them.
So specifically regards these two, Pogba, who apparently is over the hill and nearing the end of his career.
That's not quite what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
I said coming to the end of his career. I didn't say he was over the hill.
Coming to the end of his career.
Well, no, coming to the end of it. Listen, he's probably got one more big move left in him, right? He's 28, 29 years of age. He's got one more big move left in him.
But he's in his prime. You've got to admit it. He's in his prime.
How are we seeing that? You just said to me...
Well, he still pulls up trees for France.
I think that's a bit of a myth. I think if we look at the World Cup and we look at who pulled up trees for France, it was Mbappe, it was Griezmann, it was Varane. Pogba was a sideshow that people like to latch on and go, oh, he was a superstar. And when we actually distill it down and disseminate the information, we look at it and go, well, he wasn't really. And by the way, they were all bloody rubbish in the European Championships.
Well, that takes me nicely to this then. Pogba and Lingard. If you're United, do you punt them in the January window?
Yeah, you're asking me?
Right.
Yes, because I don't think they're part of an ongoing project. I think the constant conundrum, riddle me this, riddle me that, is Pogba going to be something of value to us in consistent games? And he turns up, he's a good player. Of course he's a good player, he's a brilliant player.
Yeah.
But is he a consistent performer? Do you look at him and go, on a consistent basis, Paul Pogba is an 8, an 8.5, a 9, week in, week out? No, he's not.
Yeah.
So what's the point? The point is that you paid 80, 90 million pounds for him, and that's what you should be doing. Lingard's been there since he was a kid. Everybody moves on.
But it's bad practice to let them go for free. Obviously, it has to be signing.
It's not great business, but you look at the list of players that tend to go for frees. Look at Robin van Persie. Look at other players that have come to the end of their contracts, and ultimately, I think he went for free, didn't he? He didn't go for free. Okay. Well, other players that have moved on at times in their careers when the club hasn't necessarily been able to button down the player. It's an imperfect world. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. If you get most of them right, then you'll be okay. If you get out of 10 people, you get 4 out of 10 going the wrong way, then you've got a problem.
But you love contrasting and comparing. That's what we've just done with City and United. Did you notice that?
I did.
Yeah.
So what's your point?
Well, none really.
Hang on, Jim. Manchester City are winning the Premier League. Man United aren't winning anything.
Yeah.
So the challenge for them is that they've got all the image, all the lustre, and all the poster boy mentality of Man United, but nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
Whereas Man City have got the lure to players. We can pay you whatever we want, and also we're winning everything besides the Champions League, of course.
Okay.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.